YouTube? B3 here, back another kicking action figure review. Today's over a figure I have finally acquired. Yeah, I just got him off Amazon because he was real cheap. It is the Marvel Legends Infinite Series Anti-Venom figure from Hasbro. Yeah, I've really been wanting this guy because he's part of the Hobgoblin Build-A-Figure wave, and I just cannot find these guys in retail. You know, I can find very few of the Age of Ultron Avengers wave, a bunch of that Thor wave with the Build-A-Figure Odin and King Thor, but these guys just no-go. So I ordered them off Amazon, got this guy and Spider-Girl for about 13 bucks together after I used a gift card, and this guy was cheaper than he would have been at retail anyways, but Spider-Girl was about the same. But yeah, Anti-Venom here. Really, really cool. He's not much different than the Toxin figure that was released with the last Spider-Man wave, the one that had the Build-A-Figure Ultimate Green Goblin. He's not much different. I'll do a comparison of those two figures later. But for right now, you know, I'm just going to have Anti-Venom in his glory. It's because he just has really the same mold as Toxin for the most part. He's got that Hyperion base mold with the same arms that Toxin had, but a new head sculpt and a new back piece. I actually like this piece. It doesn't get in the way, and it doesn't like fall out and tilt around like the Toxin one does. It's just a bunch of little spikes. Anti-Venom is very spiky in the comics, and it just plugs right into his back hole there. And I think it's pretty neat. It looks pretty good. I think I like it. I really like it. But he is kind of buff. I think they just used this body because they already had like symbiote stuff prepared for it, and I guess they didn't want to use the Carnage body because I guess they wanted him to be bigger. But Anti-Venom, he was, if I remember correctly, Anti-Venom was tall, but he wasn't very bulky like this because Eddie Brock was dying of cancer when he became Anti-Venom, so he was like all thin and stuff. And you can really see that more on the Marvel Select figure. He might have been buffer in that miniseries because I have a miniseries that I bought from the comic shop where it's like him and the Punisher, and I think he might be buff like this in that series, but I don't quite remember. I have so many long boxes full of comics and stuff. It would take forever to dig it out, and you know, just but yeah, most of the time Anti-Venom appeared, he was very thin, kind of maybe a little sickly looking, but still kind of muscular, you know. But yeah, you know, other than that, the head sculpt's actually pretty good. I really like this head sculpt. I like that kind of yellowy orange in the mouth and eyes. It's really nice. Those cool teeth right there. It's very nice. He's got the spikes on his head, but they aren't pointy. If you want to get your kids an Anti-Venom figure, like if your, you know, kid wants one, get him this one, because, you know, obviously, you know, check the box to see what ages these are, you know, safe for and etc., and use your parental judgment on that. But don't get the Marvel Selection for a kid because it's pointy. Like it'll poke you, and it'll hurt if you do it wrong. And this guy, he's not sharp at all. So you get there. And a lot of people have pointed out that this head sculpt looks kind of happy, don't you think? He looks pretty happy. But I mean, you know, he's curing people. Like that's what Anti-Venom does. Because Eddie Brock's totally in control, and he's a good guy. He's a good guy. And I think he started out like as an anti-hero, and he was killing, and then in my Punisher miniseries, I think he decided he didn't want to kill anymore. I think that's how it went down. It's been a while since I've read it. But yeah, he's pretty cool. You know, Eddie Brock, he's always gonna have a symbiote on him. Poor guy. But this one he has total control of. It's like a negative symbiote, so instead of hurting you and giving you cancer, it can cure it. And it can really cure any disease, which is beautiful and fantastic. But yeah, you know, the white's really bright, and I like it. I mean, he's kind of dingy looking in the comic, but I think this is kind of like a nice change, you know, because I have an already dingy looking Marvel Select one. I think it just really sets him apart from the Marvel Select, I suppose. His spider, however, while not so much on the back, on the front, a lot of white spots where they missed paint. Like there were white spots down here, and there were a bunch going up here. I filled him in black. I fixed him up, so you can't really tell anymore, but I left some, like right there on the arm. You see that white line there? There's one here, and they're mostly symmetrical throughout. But he kind of, you know, he had some on his face too. Just these little holes But when you fill them in, the spider looks good. It's real clean after you fill in those holes. It's really easy. You can just do it with the tip of a Sharpie if you want. They might rub off eventually, but it depends on if you're like playing with this figure or if you're displaying it or what. But yeah, you know, other than that, he's got the like bumps on his arm. These cool claw hands. I really like these claw hands. I love them on Toxin. I really mess with Toxin a lot. I think his feet might be new because Toxin's feet don't really look like that. They don't sit like that on the joint, you see? Toxin has Hyperion's feet, and he has kind of these like soles. Anti-Venom doesn't have those really. But you see there's like the back of the foot. You see how Anti-Venom's kind of comes up and there's this space, and his just kind of goes down here. Toxin's goes down. But yeah, just real quick, articulation, Anti-Venom can look up really well. Sadly enough, looking down is a problem because it just bounces back up. You see that? It doesn't stay looking down. But his head is still a lot better than Toxin's. You know, I mean, Toxin's a cool figure, but this guy has a good head sculpt. And Toxin, And he's got like a good back right there. Good crunch forward. Really nice ab crunch there. I like that Hyperion mold. And it's like, you know, painted all the way up the back, which is fantastic. I love that Hasbro does that now. And then you got up and down on the arm, forward and back. You got a bicep swivel, double bend right there on the elbow. And then you've got wrist swivel right there on Anti-Venom. Up and down. Really, really nice there. You got that waist joint, which is very good. And in and out on the legs, forward and back on the legs. Really good range of movement on these legs, actually. Very nice. Thigh joint, you got that nice swivel there. Double knee bend, as you can see. My joint right here is real loose, but I can deal. I think that's just me. And then you've got a nice little swivel there on the shin. Up and down on the foot. And boop, swivel right there. Also peg holes if you need them. But you probably won't. He stands pretty well. I guess it just depends on what you're doing with him. But yeah, now let's get into those size comparisons. Now here's Anti-Venom with Toxin. As I promised, as you can see, you know, they just have different back plugs, maybe different feet, which I showed earlier, different head sculpts for sure. But other than that, they're really the same mold. I'd say Toxin has more paint detail, and you know, lots of people have just been wanting to see these figures alongside each other, so I figured I would show them. But they're both Eddie Brock, so yeah, I think he's Toxin, like currently as I'm reviewing this. I think it was like an Agent Venom villain. But yeah, you know, that's just how they stack up to each other. Now here's of two other newer Marvel Legends. Here on the left we have the Infinite Series Spider-Girl from the same wave as him. And here on the right we have the Infinite Series Hawkeye from the Odin the Allfather King Thor Build-A-Figure wave. Now Spider-Girl here uses the Jubilee mold. And, you know, I think they look fine. If Anti-Venom is supposed to be, you know, really tall, then he looks really tall compared to her. But her legs are kind of bow out, so she could be she's actually a little taller than she's shown here. And then here on the right, you know, as I said, Hawkeye, he has the Bucky cap mold. So, you know, that's really just the standard size for most Marvel Legends now. And I think they look pretty good too. You know, if you're going for big with Anti-Venom, then that's what they did. They got it. Now here he is with some Toy Biz figures. The figure here on the left isn't technically a Toy Biz figure. It's a re-release of a Toy Biz sculpt, but from Hasbro. But it's the same sculpt as the original Toy Biz Carnage figure. It's just a Hasbro re-release. And here on the right we have the Battle Ravaged Spider-Man from, you know, the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movie. From Toy Biz, obviously. And here's how they stack up with Anti-Venom. You know, if you're still going for the big with Anti-Venom, I guess this can kind of work. But, you know, he might be a little too big for Carnage there. I don't know. But, you know, it's fine. It's fine, I think. I don't really have a problem with it. But I'll let you guys really decide on that one. Because the Toy Biz figures can be kind of iffy with Hasbro Marvel Legends sometimes. Now here's Anti-Venom with some more Hasbro figures. I just wanted to show them with a real Hasbro symbiote. So here on the left we have this Mac Gargan Venom from Hasbro, and this would be the Venom that Anti-Venom does fight. This is the Venom symbiote on the Scorpion. So when this was on Mac Gargan, Anti-Venom was still a thing. So these are the two, they fight each other. They go together. So if you have this Mac Gargan Venom, you might want this Anti-Venom figure to go with him. Just saying. Or vice versa. But yeah, I actually think they look pretty good together, to be totally honest with you. Because, you know, Venom's kind of hunched over and crazy looking, and, you know, Eddie Brock's more in control. He stands up straight. He's, you know, he's him. So I think they look great together. And then I just wanted to show him with a larger female mold, and currently one of my favorite Marvel Legends, my Captain Marvel here, Carol Danvers. She's from the same wave as the Hawkeye from before, and I think that they look good together also. Now here's of some Marvel Selects finally. You know, if you want a shorter Anti-Venom, I guess he works well with the Amazing Spider-Man here on the left. But personally, I'd like my symbiotes, even Anti-Venom, to be larger. So I don't think he goes too well with Spider-Man there. And then here I just wanted to show you a comparison with the Marvel Select Anti-Venom. As you can see, he's thinner and etc. He's, you know, kind of creepier looking, actually. And he's really just kind of dingy, as you can see. But this guy, really lacking in articulation. Great detail in paint and stuff. And he even comes with this cool stand. And I believe I have reviewed him. If I haven't reviewed him, I can review him if you want. But I think I have. I think I have. Maybe it got deleted and I never uploaded it. Because I've had 2 hard drive crashes recently and it's really bugging me. Or in the past few years, not too recently. But yeah, you know, they're just nice together. But he doesn't scale with Spider-Man. So I'm just going to bring these guys a little closer for you. And as you can see, they got different face sculpts and claws. I really like the claws on the Marvel Select. They're really nice. I really like the claws on both, actually. The ones in the Marvel Select are just more unique. And you see he's got these really sharp spikes. Lots of them are really sharp. On the head, they're very sharp. But, you know, it's really just a personal taste thing. If you like detail and paint more and you're really only going for display and don't mess around with your figures a lot, maybe the Marvel Select is for you. But, you know, if you like just the Marvel Legends scale and you don't really collect Marvel Select and you really like articulation on your figures, then this guy might be the one you like. I really like articulation on my figures, but I also like detail. I'm a compromise guy. And I got both. I got this guy for like 14 bucks off Amazon, so that was pretty good. And I think they might have re-released him even. And then this guy, he was like 17 on Amazon when I got him, so boop boop, you know. They're both the cheaper ones in their, you know, lines, so, you know, I would check them out and just decide which one you want. It's really a personal taste thing. Now, Anti-Venom here does come with a piece of Hobgoblin. Yeah, he comes with what I believe to be the left leg. Actually, this is the right leg. Whoops, never mind. The right leg is just, you know, really cool. Just leg piece. But, yeah, you know, I'll get more into detail on that for the Hobgoblin review when that, you know, happens eventually. So all in all, what are my final thoughts on the Marvel Legends Infinite Series Anti-Venom from the Phil Lurch Hobgoblin Build-A-Figure wave? Well, he's a neat figure. You know, he's not really unique, I have to say. I think that's one of the reasons he's, I think he's supposed to be the least desired figure in the wave, honestly. Because, well, he's the cheapest one online, which really gives it away. And, you know, most of the people I know collecting this wave aren't really as interested in him. Most of them already have, like, the Marvel Select, or they just really have the Toxin and aren't really interested in him because they're like, I already have this sculpt. But, you know, to be honest, I called this guy. Like, when they announced the wave at that first Comic-Con or whatever, they showed, like, Spider-Man and Spider-Girl, and then they showed the Hobgoblin and 2099, and the rest of what was going to be in the wave was up in the air. And I called it. I said, there's going to be an Anti-Venom figure with the Toxin sculpt, and boom, it happened. I knew it. Didn't call Daredevil or Ultimate Spider-Woman, but I was thinking we might get an Ultimate Spider-Woman eventually. I just didn't think it'd be in this wave. But yeah, you know, he's a cool figure. I mean, if you're more into accuracy of design and detail and etc., then the Marvel Select is probably the one you want. But you know, I've already said it a bunch in this review. But if you really like the articulation more, this guy's good to go with. And his detail and paint aren't bad either. They just don't really feel like they're accurate to the character design. Even though, you know, Marvel Legends, you know, they do what they want. And that's fine, you know. I think he's unique. I think if you are just a big Anti-Venom fan and you already have the Marvel Select, then I think that this would actually be worth the purchase because he's different enough to, you know, really feel unique compared to the other one, as you saw. They are completely different figures. And he even still looks cool with the stand there, as you can see in the background. So, yeah, all in all, honestly, 4 out of 5 stars, I think. I mean, I took off a little for those paint problems, but they're easily fixable, right? And I do think that he kind of appeared like this, like in a buffer type of artwork in that miniseries. I really feel like he did. And I'm pretty sure I heard another reviewer say that also. I can't remember who it was. But I might have heard another reviewer say that as well. So, I'm not the only one that thinks that. I gotta dig up that comic series. But, yeah, you know, 4 out of 5 stars I think is good, you guys. Please remember to rate, comment, and subscribe. Check out all the cool links in the description below. You got Facebook, Twitter, follow me back on Twitter. Lots of other channels, all kinds of great stuff, you guys. And, yeah, more Marvel Legends reviews, more Kaiju reviews, you know, all kinds of great stuff coming your way. So, thank you all so much for your support. As I said, rate, comment, subscribe, and I'm just gonna see you all later.